Buongiorno everybody, I'm back in London and I've woken up to the greyest and gloomiest of days, which I'm not too happy about because of the lighting for today's video, but we're just going to go with it because I am bursting with happiness about my hair, and I finally have the confidence and knowledge to sit down and speak about my hair and how I've got it to this point and my journey. I'm going to tell you guys everything, as well as answer all of the questions I've had over the years, and also recently on a post I shared on Instagram. You would have known we went to Poland last week, and Poland is like our glow up trip. We go to the hairdresser, we get facials, we go to the dentist, the doctor, we get our bloods done there. It's a full MOT, and like I said, I went to the hairdresser and I could not believe when I saw the pictures afterwards that that was my hair. In fact, Stefania, when she was taking the pictures, she was like, it looks like you've airbrushed your hair. It looks so thick and healthy at the ends, which for me, that has not happened since I was about 13 or 12 or maybe younger. It has not been smooth sailing with my hair, let me tell you. So like I said, in today's video, I'm going to tell you my hair journey. I'm going to answer all the questions. I'm going to tell you all the things I've done in order to get my hair to this point. And these are things that actually work. I've tried so many things. Believe me, I've tried nearly everything. And the things I'm going to share with you in today's video are really what works, and works very fast. I can't believe how quickly this has happened. And like I said, I finally got the confidence to sit down. And I know it sounds crazy, but I just don't feel that I should speak on things if I haven't had the experience or knowledge, or if it's false, just to tell you guys. I want to have the receipts, and I have them. I also am going to style my hair because this is what my hair looks like naturally. So I washed my hair last night. I tend to wash my hair the night before. I don't tend to wash my hair in the mornings. Very rarely do I wash my hair in the mornings. I just don't have time. So this is my hair washed last night, and then I dry it with a hairdryer. Now, one mistake I used to make for a very long time, like years, was I wouldn't dry my hair. I would let my hair air dry every single time. Even in the depths of winter when it was freezing, I wouldn't dry my hair. And I actually feel that that was harmful to my hair. My thinking behind it was just no heat, as little heat as possible. However, especially when it's very, very cold, it's important to dry your hair and not let it air dry, because when it's very, very cold, just like if you imagine something that's frozen, so like your hair strand, when it's very, very cold and wet, will become quite rigid and it can snap. And I just felt that my hair didn't feel nor look very good. So the first thing is to make sure you hair dry your hair and don't leave it to air dry, especially when it's cold. Obviously when you're on holiday and it's hot, that's a different story. I let my hair air dry because it dries very, very quickly. It's so hot, and it's okay in those circumstances. So this is my hair naturally, so you guys can see. It's curly and frizzy underneath, and then it's quite straight on top, and I think that's because I tend to only curl like these pieces sometimes. So these pieces have had the most heat damage. My hair is a mixture, I suppose, and I thought I would style my hair today with the hair Dyson. I purchased this just before summer, so I think it was about July. Tried it once and I really liked the results, and I haven't tried it again because I went away and I just don't tend to style my hair much when I'm on holiday, so I thought it was pointless bringing it with me. But we're gonna style it today so you guys can see how the Dyson Airwrap works. So it's a big hair video today, and I am gonna pop in lots and lots of pictures to show my hair journey over the years. So I'm gonna start by brushing my hair out to style it, and my hairbrush at the moment is this wooden wide tooth comb, and I absolutely love it. I am done with using plastic combs with plastic bristles. Anything, as you guys know, synthetic or plastic, I don't want on my body. I don't want it through my hair. So I saw this, and I don't remember where it's from. It says L'Esthétique comb. Maybe that's the brand. If I find it or anything similar, I'll link it below. But I love that it's wooden, and I find when you have wider gaps, it doesn't rip your hair. So this has been really, really working for me at the moment. Now, of course, to use the Dyson, your hair needs to be fairly damp, and because I washed my hair last night, I need to wet it. Now, Normally I would have done this with water, however, since I have been using rosemary spray, this is homemade as well, and I will show you guys how to make this at the end of the video. We're going to go downstairs to the kitchen and make a batch because this one's nearly done. But I found when I use the airwrap, it's a great opportunity to get more rosemary hairspray in your hair. Since the hairspray doesn't leave any residue, your hair looks and feels the same as when you've washed it. So I put this in my hair every single day, particularly on the scalp. I mean, I'm only putting it through the ends now because I'm styling it, but this is one of my hair routines that I have seen a huge difference with the health of my hair. So I wash my hair, I would say, around twice a week, and when I've finished shampooing, conditioning, whatever I've done, this goes in at the end, and I mean, I go to town with it. I literally cover my scalp in it, and it's also a good time to take some deep breaths and inhale that gorgeous rosemary scent, which is so good for you. But that's basically what I do. I dampen my washed and dry hair in the morning when I'm ready to style it. But basically, when I was a young girl, I had fabulous hair. I mean, it was so thick. When I used to go to the hairdressers, I used to have several hairdressers work on my hair at the one time, and it would just be a cut and blow dry. But I'll never forget, my mum would leave me in there for hours because my hairdressers was opposite her restaurant. She'd leave me there for hours, and I'd get so bored. But that's how much hair I had. I didn't do anything to it, and of course I wouldn't because I was so young. But then I got a bit of an obsession for Britney Spears and what was her name? Jessica Simpson. And I just thought their blonde hair was amazing. So I begged my mum to get blonde hair. I think I was about, I'm gonna say about 13, 14, which is very young. And as much as I wish my mum didn't let me, I'm kind of glad she did, because it just completely got out of my system. And the journey that I had was so awful that by the age of 20, I was like, I'm never doing anything to my hair again. So my mum finally agreed, and she took me to the hairdressers, and she agreed that I could have 10 highlights. I never forget, she was like, you can have 10 highlights, that's it. So I took those 10 highlights, and you can imagine it looked pretty bad because look how dark my hair is. Imagine like 10 blonde thin strands just going around my head. If I can find a picture, I'll pop it here. I'm just going to go in with the Kevin Murphy. I'm loving this brand at the moment. I discovered this brand at my hairdressers in Poland. They used the products on me and I was like, these are incredible. So this is Kevin Murphy's Blow Dry Ever Thickening Heat Activated Style Extender, and you put it on your hair when it's slightly damp. So since I'm using heat on my hair, I just spray this. It's obviously very important to put protector on when you're styling or putting any heat on your hair. So as I was saying, so I got my 10 highlights and I love them, but me being me, when I get something in my head, and I'm still the same way now, I will get what I want in the end. So every time I went to the hairdresser, I begged my mum, and she'd always let me put in a little bit more. And this happened over a period of maybe, I don't know, maybe a year, maybe. And by the end of it, I was nearly blonde. And at this point, my mum couldn't really say no to like going fully blonde. So she said I could. And oh my goodness, my poor hair. So I always start sectioning my hair from the bottom. So I'll pop this up and start with the underneath pieces. These underneath pieces of my hair are wild. I actually don't know what to do with them. I need to work it out, but you can always see them. They're always there. The good thing is when it's down, it gives my hair more volume, but when my hair's up, they're wild. And as I'm sectioning, I'll add in more of the rosemary hairspray just to the bits that are underneath. Your hair needs to be 90% dry, I think it's what they say, to use the Dyson airwrap. You don't use it when it's completely wet, it doesn't work. So, which is why I love this spray bottle, because you can just spray it whenever you want. And of course, haven't mentioned amber glass, very important. None of these plastic spray bottles that you can get cheaply. invest in a good amber glass bottle and your hair will thank you for it. So they're the pieces ready. I actually picked up some hair, talking about plastic. I looked for hours for hair rollers that weren't plastic and I couldn't find them. If you know of any, let me know. So for now I picked up these and I like them because I set my hair in them and I'll leave them in whilst I'll do my makeup and finish getting ready. But with this particular pack, you get the clips, which are in fact metal. So at least they're metal and they're not plastic. I'm trying to reduce all plastics. So at least they're metal. So you get quite a few that come with the rollers. I think there's about 12 rollers. You can get all different amounts. You can get 4, 8, 12, 24. Depends on what you need and your hair type. But I picked up, I think I picked up 12. So I hope they're enough. I should show you what I normally use to style my hair. So normally I use hair curlers, and these are the hair curlers I use. They're by Hot Tools. They've been the best for me and they're very, very good. However, we know that putting your hair directly on heat is not the best. And I think this is the main reason at this point in my hair journey why my ends get so frazzled, because I really do nothing to my hair. I don't colour my hair, I don't style it in any kind of mad ways, I don't use a lot of product on it. Like I said, I wash my hair maybe twice a week, I style it maybe once. So I don't do too much, but the only thing I do is use these hair curlers, which are great. I love these colours. These are the 1-inch barrel Hot Tools iron. However, the reason for the Dyson airwrap purchase was to not use too much heat directly on my hair. So this is what I have been using, and like I said, I get great results. I have very long hairs, which is why the 1-inch barrel worked really well for me. Before I used, I think it was the 32 barrel, because my hair was slightly shorter, but the 1-inch barrel works perfectly. So that's what I have been using mainly, but I am on a mission to have the most wonderful, thick, healthy hair I've ever had. Now, going back to my blonde moment, my mum eventually caved and said I could dye all my hair completely blonde, and I went to the hairdresser with a picture of Brittany and I was like, I want hair this blonde. And I remember the faces of these hairdressers. They were like, do you know how dark your hair is? I remember many times being told, like, your hair will not go this shade of blonde, it's going to take a long time. And I was like, I don't care, I want this colour hair. And I went to the hairdressers and they did it and I came out ginger. I came out ginger. I couldn't believe it. I remember my hair just falling out every time I touched it. I was beside myself. I couldn't believe it. And the hairdresser was so apologetic and said to me, you need to come back and we need to rectify this and get the colour you want. So I think I went in a few days later, but of course, imagine the amount of chemicals and heat and God knows what else goes on your hair when you decide to dye it that colour. I had that all in the space of a week. So my hair had a lot of trauma happen to it. I did eventually achieve that colour, but from hair that was longer and thicker than my hair is now and this dark, my hair was, I think, basically up to here, bleach blonde, broken and just bitty. I'll pop a picture here. But I was happy, I was blonde. And I suppose maybe when you're just that young, you don't care about health in general. It's not a matter that's on your mind. So I continued with the blonde hair. Of course, I had terrible roots because of my natural hair colour. And I had to get them topped up all the time. And I remember that started to really wind me up. And now thinking about it as an adult, that's costly. I'm spending money every few weeks to top up my roots. Again, not a thought when I was younger because I wasn't paying for my hairdressers. My parents were. So that started to annoy me. And then at some point, I don't know when or how, I can't remember, but the length of my hair started to bother me. And I really wanted really long hair. And it wasn't something I would be able to achieve dyeing it every few weeks or however often I was doing it. In those days, hair extensions weren't really a thing, but I remember there was an Afro-Caribbean shop, hair shop, locally to me, and I went in there and I spoke to the lady and she said that I could get the hair extensions. And in those days, hair extensions involved cane rowing a section of your hair in the back and then sewing or weaving the hair extensions into the cane row. And so that's what I did. I think at that point I started to dye my hair slowly back to brown. At that point I was dyeing it to get rid of the blonde. So now at this point I have dyed brown hair and hair extensions in my hair. And I think I was about 17 at this point. So I'm going to turn the Dyson on and do this first piece. I use this barrel to style my hair. It comes with so many parts. If you haven't seen, you can see in here you've got a brush that you can comb your hair out with. This piece I'm really interested in because it smooths all of these baby hair, so I'll be trying this piece. But you've got a slightly smaller one, another brush, you've got a blow dry brush, and what you're meant to do is turn it on and then let it attach itself, and then sort of guide it up, and then hold it for a moment, and then there's a button that you push down and it's cold air to help set the curl. So I'm just letting it do that, and then you just pull and you can see how curled that piece is. It's just amazing. So now I gather that curl up, and for the bottom ones I'll just pin the curl in place over using one of these. So I'll just pin that there and let that set. So I'm going to do the other side. I could definitely have done with sectioning that in two, but for now I'll just pin this up and I'll know for next time. So I have my hair extensions in, cane rode in, and I'm happy. I'm so happy. My hair's long, thick, my scalp is on fire, of course, because I have cane row in the back of my head. I was just so happy I had long, thick hair. And I had those in for about, I think you're supposed to have them in for a couple of months, and because they were so expensive, I can't remember what they cost. It must have been a couple of £100 then, but because they were so expensive, I didn't want to get them again very soon, because obviously it was so expensive. So I made them last as long as I possibly could, which was the biggest mistake ever. Just taken the second section down, and again dampen it slightly. My hair definitely dries quite fast, so it looks like it's something I'll do each section going forward. You can see it's not that hot because I'm literally touching the barrel and not burning myself, so your hair's not getting damaged. That was a better piece for sure. I'm just going to pop this up. Am I doing it the wrong way? Believe how fast this is. I just don't know if I'm doing it the right way around. See at the end, won't we? So anyway, I have my hair extensions and I'm beyond happy, and I've kept them in for as long as I can. But what happens, especially to a white woman's hair, if it's in cane row? Now our hair, compared to Afro-Caribbean women, our hair is very fine and theirs is so coarse, so they can cane row their hair and not have very much damage. I learned the hard way, and when I eventually took these hair extensions out, along with my hair extensions, I would say about 60% of my hair came out. When that piece came off with the hair, the fake hair, most of my hair was attached to it. It all came out because your hair's obviously growing. The cane road piece has come out and it's moving and ripping. Awful. Anyway, now my hair is dyed blonde, dyed again brown, partially bald. It's in pieces. If I can find a picture, because I really didn't want to take any pictures at this point, I'll pop it in, but I didn't have very much hair left, and it just was weird for me because I always had such thick hair. So at this point I stopped doing anything to my hair and I just left it. And I struggled for a very long time, and I mean a really long time, trying to work out what it is that I needed to do. And of course, stopping anything that's harmful for your hair, whether it's colouring it, styling it, of course that's a great start. But I realise now that, like with anything else, you really need to take care of your hair if you want lovely hair. It's the same way as your skin, it's the same way as your mind, it's the same way as your health. So I was in my 20s, and of course in your 20s, well, my generation anyway, we didn't really think about these things. One thing that we did, which I'm obviously so grateful for, is we turned plant-based, and we really cared what we were putting in our body. And I think that's partly what saved me at the beginning, because we were eating so many healthy things. We were eating many nuts, we were having fruits, all these wonderful foods, algae that most people weren't having. And that was helping, but not enough. And I got by for most of my 20s, and then I hit 30. And it was one of the toughest years of my life. My nonna Elvira became very sick. Beginning of 2017, she had lung cancer. And myself and Stefania flew out and stayed with her until her last moment, and we looked after her. And I, in that period, did not care about myself. All of my attention was for my nonna. If she was comfortable, if she was okay, if she needed anything, just that it was it. I did not pay any attention to myself for a moment. In fact, I remember at one point myself and Stefania realising we hadn't eaten properly in like weeks. Time is very strange when things like that are happening. So of course that went on for, I would say 7 months. Yeah, 7 months. And then of course she died, and then the grief, the trauma. And I would say by the end of 2017 into 2018, I started to develop baldness in this part of my hair. I'll put pictures here. And at the beginning it was quite small. And then I remember at one point I couldn't believe it. And I used to wear my hair scraped over to this side to cover it. And I was so down. I was so down. The sun started to come out. Finally. And I think that was the worst time for me and my hair. I've never ever experienced anything like that. And the stress from worrying about it, I think, made it worse. Now, if you've ever experienced any trauma or grief like that, you'll notice that your hair tends to fall out 3 months after the trauma because of the hair cycle. So that's what happened. And of course at this point I really had to take this seriously. I'm making a real mess of this, but I'm just going to go with it. I'm noticing also that I'm wetting my hair too much. The Dyson doesn't like the hair to be too heavy, so just a little bit wet. So just bear that in mind, especially if you have thick hair. Okay, we're gonna have to trust the process. I'm gonna section. I'm wondering if I'm sectioning too much, but I don't feel like they are, but maybe because my hair's so thick now. It's not so thick, but it's thicker, that maybe I need less sectioning than I'm used to. So the journey begins on getting my hair as healthy as possible. Now, one thing I have mentioned is the rosemary hair oil. It has worked incredibly well, and like I said, we make ours, like we make everything. You need to know where your products come from, and when they're made in a lab somewhere, 9 times out of 10 it's not good quality. The products being used to make it are not good quality. The process being used isn't a good process. And when it's so easy, make it at home. We have a rosemary bush in the garden, and along with some water, you have your rosemary oil. Like I said, I'll show you guys how we make it later. But using that, implementing that and using that has made the world of difference. Another thing I've been doing, which I found to really help, is, especially with the length of my hair, when I used to go to sleep, I used to just leave it. Like, I didn't think about it. I just used to leave my hair, go to sleep. And what I found was, in the middle of the night, I'd get my hair caught either under my arm, my elbow. And when you're sleeping, or when I'm sleeping, I get quite annoyed if I get woken up, so I sort of yank things to get them away from me so I can go back to sleep. And so God knows the damage I was doing to my hair when I slept. So one thing I've been doing quite recently, the last, I would say 3-4 months, is plaiting my hair before I go to sleep, which has helped so much. And of course I don't get woken up in the middle of the night because my hair's got caught. I'm on the heat setting, and look, I can literally grab the hair and it's not hot. No more burning my my forehead like I did last week. Dearie me. So plaiting your hair, especially if it's quite long, is another, not, you wouldn't think was an important part, but it is. And if you think of all of those Indian ladies that have beautiful long thick hair, well, I always remember they had them in plaits. And I always say, take note from the older generation, because they really did know how to do things. Another thing I've been doing for so long is oiling my hair. I feel like I've perfected my oiling technique. So I've always used coconut oil, and it has to be organic, cold pressed, comes in a glass jar. It has to be that. No, don't use any other coconut oil. It's just not worth it. You don't know how that oil's been made. But what I used to do is put it everywhere. My scalp, my ends, I'd smother my hair in the oil. And I actually used to sleep with it overnight, which I stopped doing because my bed sheets would just get ruined. So now I'll pop the oil in my hair the morning of my hair wash, if I have time, of course. Even if it's just an hour before, if I haven't had time all day, an hour before. And what I'll do is I'll cover my ends in coconut oil and my scalp in castor oil. Castor oil, of course, we know has so many benefits, and I've been using it on my eyelashes, and I can't believe how thick and long my eyelashes have got. And I've always been one to suffer like with gappy eyelashes. Since using the castor oil, that stopped happening. So castor oil on my scalp, because obviously that's where the hair follicle is, that's where the hair begins, and the castor oil is an oil that penetrates deep within the layer of skin, whereas coconut oil, all other oils don't, they just sort of sit on the skin. So I find coconut oil is great for like softening the ends and dealing with the damage, and then the castor oil on the root to really nourish. And sometimes I would add in essential oils like rosemary. I only use doTERRA essential oils because they are the most potent and they are the highest grade. I wouldn't recommend using any other. I don't as much use the essential oils now, but at the beginning I did. So you can always mix in an essential oil that you prefer for the thing that you're tackling. Like if it's dandruff, for example, or an uncomfortable scalp, you'd use tea tree oil. and so on. You can obviously Google all of the oils, there's hundreds of them, but that's a nice idea as well, to add into the carrier oil. So the carrier oil would be castor oil, a few drops of your essential oil. So oiling is up there with one of the most important things you need to do to get healthy hair. It's very important. Making such a mess, my goodness. The next thing that I have recently found to work and has actually created the quickest hair growth is massaging your scalp. I can't believe the results I'm getting, and the best method I've found, I tried sitting there doing like a proper massage with my hands, but the one thing that I do that I don't realise I'm doing, and I think that's why I'm having such good results, because I don't realise that I'm doing it. You know those metal hair claws? I'll show you it after. I picked one up in, was it Thailand? I think it was Thailand. And I just have it next to me on the sofa. It just lives next to where I sit on the sofa in front of the television. And every night I'll sit there watching something and just massage my head with it. And thinking about it, I must do it for half an hour some days, because it just feels amazing. And I think because it feels amazing, it makes you obviously do it so much more. So I would really recommend getting one of those and popping it next to where you sit on the sofa and just use it every single night. So I do that, and then when I'm done doing that, I'll then do a like 2-minute with my fingers, and not like a massage where I'm sort of brushing my scalp. I move the scalp like that, if you know what I mean. I don't like do that. I like move the scalp, and of course never ever use your nails, because it can damage the follicles. So that for me has been a huge game changer, and something I will continue to do. I mean, I had my last haircut 6 months ago and it wasn't like this, and that's the only thing that I've added to my hair care routine in the 6 months, and I've had such amazing results. Another really important thing, just like your skincare, is the products that you're using or choosing to use to wash your hair with, and of course style it with. So we've been using clean hair care for I don't know how long, maybe 15 years now. We used to use Sukin, which is very good. We're currently using Bondi Boost. I'll go through the products I'm using right now with you after I finish this. But the point is that it's paraben free, sulfate free, it's clean, there's no chemicals, and generally you won't find that in your like high street supermarket. Generally you'll find them in like Planet Organic and in those sorts of places, but not in your sort of mainstream ones. So you really need to be cautious of what you're washing your hair with. If you really want to take all precautions, and it's something myself and Stefania really want to do, is put a filter on your shower, because the water has got so much rubbish in it that it ruins your hair. I don't know if you find this when you travel, but when I go to Italy and Poland, my hair is so much better because obviously the water's slightly better there. So if you live in London or any city, then putting a filter on your shower system is key. But if that's going too far for you, then just getting products that are paraben free, silicone free, sulfate, nice, toxic free and clean is crucial to get your hair nice and healthy, because most of those products on the market, they strip your hair of its natural oils and damage it basically. I underestimated my hair, I really did. Right, last piece, and then I will show you guys everything I'm using, and we'll go make a batch of rosemary hair oil together. Done. Now, normally I would do this before my makeup, so I would let this set the entire time I was doing my makeup, but since I'm ready, I'm gonna leave this in and carry on chatting with you and showing you guys how I look after my hair in a clean way. I wanted to show you a few more products from Kevin Murphy, because I did make a little order to work out which products will be good for me. I've tried, like I mentioned, I tried a few in my hairdressers in Poland and I loved them, and so I went on their website and looked at all the different types. They have so many types, and I actually really love the bottles. So this is one of their shampoos, and it's the Balancing Wash Daily Shampoo, and I'm pairing that with the Young Again Rinse Immortelle and Baobab Infused Restorative Softening Conditioner. So I've decided to use these two alongside each other when I'm done with what I'm using at the moment. I'm using Bondi Boost, and it's incredible, but only the original. When you start getting the other types of shampoos, I find that there's things that start to come in that you don't want to be using in your products. So the original shampoo and conditioner are great. The others just stick to the original. But yeah, so I thought I'd try these two alongside each other. Then I picked up a treatment. This is their Restore Repairing Cleansing Treatment. Don't you love the bottles? The packaging is fantastic. Then the Thick Again Leave-In Thickening Treatment for thinning hair. So this is of course because of that situation I was telling you about. Had balding hair, like I've actually become fixated. So I saw this and I thought I'm going to try that. I also picked up a dry shampoo. Now dry shampoos I don't like to use because one thing I learnt through my hair journey is I would use dry shampoo quite a lot, and that actually is quite bad for your hair. And if you use dry shampoo, you need to be washing your hair that evening. You can't leave it in because it basically, it clogs your hair follicles and stops your hair from getting any nourishment, and eventually the hair dies, falls out, doesn't grow. So dry shampoo is only when you're going to wash your hair, and finding good dry shampoos that aren't loaded with chemicals is so hard. So I thought I would try Kevin Murphy's Fresh Hair Dry Shampoo. So I'll probably use this tomorrow. My hair, by the way, gets greasy within 24 hours. It's insane. I never touch it, but myself and Spaniel exactly the same. In one day, our hair's greasy. Then I picked up the Young Again Immortelle Enriched Treatment Oil, which I could probably put in. No, this is on damp hair. It's another sort of treatment. And then I wanted to try another product for when I style my hair. This is their Heated Defense Leave-In Heat Protection. So I do have two heat protections that I'm gonna alternate between and work out which one works best for me. And they're the new hair products I'm trying at the moment. I'll let you know how I get on with them. Like I mentioned, I use the Rosemary spray every day, particularly hair wash day. I will pour this onto my scalp with my hair damp and let it all just soak in. And I'll make that with you very shortly. I'll take you into the bathroom and show you what I'm shampooing my hair with. So, what I'm currently using at the moment is, as I said, Bondi Boost, which is this, if you don't know what Bondi Boost is, and I'm using it alongside the conditioner. So I find as well with products, I like to use the same shampoo, conditioner alongside each other. Very rarely will I use different brands, which usually because something's coming to its end and I need to finish it. Another thing that both Stefania and I do is when we're done with one brand, we'll move on to another brand and then change it again. We'll never stick to the same brand. So we'll alternate between 2 or 3 or 4, depending on what we can find. There's not a huge amount of clean hair care on the market, but the few that there is will alternate. So that's Bondi Boost. And I actually have a few Sukin bottles here. They're actually just conditioners. I need to buy the shampoo, but this is Sukin here. We get them in these huge bottles, and actually we pick these up at TK Maxx, can you believe? So if you have a TK Maxx near you, head in and I guarantee you'll find these bottles. We've got the Natural Balance conditioner, and I've also got the hydrating conditioner, which is the blue, this is the green, and it says they're paraben free. I need to actually stock up on the shampoo because I don't have it, I just have the conditioner. Clean shampoo, clean conditioner, and Rosemary hairspray. They are like the 3 staples. And then in between that we do treatments. Like I picked one up from Kevin Murphy, I'm going to try that. Actually the Bondi Boost treatment is very, very good. I actually should order another one of those. The treatment they do is very, very good. Moving on, whilst we're here, because I do keep this product in the bathroom when I'm done with the shower, and it's magnesium oil spray, and this one we get from Kiki Health. This is where we talk about the hair health from within. It all starts from within, and if you're not healthy and if you're lacking of anything, if your hormones are unbalanced, your hair is not going to be its best. One thing I've struggled with, and you guys that have been following me for a while will know, is my hormones. I did have very high progesterone and very low estrogen, and that in turn had an effect on my skin and my hair, and of course my mood, many things. But I do see a huge difference in my skin and hair. My skin used to just be full of breakouts, particularly in the hormonal area, which was here. That's now gone. My acne's now gone because of the few steps I've taken to balance my hormones. But also this area, particularly where I was having hair loss, was not getting better. The two things that I have added in to balance my hormones, supplementation wise, is magnesium oil spray. Now this, for us ladies, is the most crucial vitamin we need to balance. Sorry, the battery cut out. I don't know where I was, but basically magnesium oil spray is the most important thing for women to keep their hormones balanced. And like I said, this is in my bathroom. When I have a shower, I finish, I come out and I spray this directly onto my skin, and I do about 5 or 6 sprays. My pores on my skin are open because I've just had a shower, and it allows that magnesium oil spray to really soak in. I let that just dry naturally. So that's one thing I use for the hormones. And another is something I've spoken about in the past, and it is wild yam cream. This one's from Napier's The Herbalists, but that had a huge impact on balancing my hormones. As we stand, my last blood test, my estrogen was normal and my progesterone had significantly come down. It's still a little bit high, but nowhere near as high as it's been. And I can tell because my skin is so much better. I don't have breakouts anymore, and my hair has got thicker, it's got healthier, and that patch that I've had that has been balding is just becoming less and less. And that comes down to your hormones. You really need to make sure your hormones are all balanced, and if you are not having yearly blood tests, I really suggest that you have them, because you can really keep on top of things and adjust things that you're doing, things in your diet. You know your body, and we do it with our cars, and I just don't get why we don't do it here. It's odd. So I recommend having your blood test, and if you're having anything going on with your skin and hair, this is the last place that it shows. Internally it's hard to see, but if it's coming out in your skin, in your hair, in your feeling also, it means something needs to be looked at and something needs to be done. So I recommend that. So that's everything up here. Now I'm going to take you downstairs to the kitchen, because of course the things we eat, and there's some particular things that I have been eating and taking that have really helped with the health of my hair. I do quickly want to show you the hair massager that I was talking about earlier. Now I sit here and I leave the massager here or over there, just anywhere, but it's very accessible to get. I picked this up for like 50p in Thailand. They're inexpensive. I'll link one below. But I'll use this and just sit there watching the television, listening to a podcast, whatever I'm doing. This has helped me so much. Also, my stress levels have gone down and I just feel very relaxed at night because this feels amazing. So that's the head massager that I'm currently using. Now, your gut health is super important, and if there's anything I can suggest without making any drastic changes that you're not particularly ready for or you don't want to do yet, and it's something myself and Stefania implemented immediately when we decided that years and years ago that we wanted to be plant-based and we wanted to be healthy, but we didn't quite know how to do it and we weren't quite ready to give up certain things. It was probiotics. Now there's loads of probiotics on the market. They're all synthetic. What you need to look for is soil-based probiotics, SBO probiotics. And I don't know if things have changed now, but years ago I could only find this brand and one in America. You guys will know Kiki Health is a brand that we have used solidly for years. The quality of these products are incredible. You've got your amber bottles and they're glass and it's organic. To quickly explain what SBO probiotics are, soil-based probiotics are from the soil. So our ancestors years ago, when they used to cultivate the land or walk around and just pick fruit off the tree, they used to eat that fruit. They didn't wash it and they would eat soil which has the probiotics in it. So that's why most of the probiotics on the market are made in a lab and that isn't close to nature. So I would really recommend body biotics from Kiki Health. I'll link them below. So we use them. And the other thing that I did, well actually I've originally, Stefania suggested taking selenium. So I got, hello? Talk of the devil. So I just walked in. I was just saying how, you know, when I had, I haven't taken it down yet. But you know when I had the hair loss and you suggested I take selenium, and I took, was it Garden of Life? I feel it might have been Garden of Life selenium. No. No?
It wasn't. It was another company.
Well, I basically took the supplement and it did help, didn't it? But then Stefania was like, why are you taking the supplement when, how many Brazil nuts?
2 a day.
2 Brazil nuts a day is your daily requirement of selenium. So I basically eat 2 of these a day, and that is helping. Can you think of any other hair things?
Yeah.
Show them. So do that with your fingernails. Apparently I heard that if you
get to do it though.
I was saying how much the hair massager, that one I bought from Thailand, oh my goodness, it's helped so much. But I think that's
castor oil, botana oil.
Yeah, I've said that. That's something we want to try. We want to try botana oil, which is apparently meant to be really good. So that's something we're ordering. But yeah, I've spoken about castor oil and how putting it on the scalp is so good for your scalp.
Brazil now.
I'm actually quite hungry. But in general, whatever you put into your body is what you're going to get. So if you put rubbish in your body, unfortunately you're going to look like rubbish. Your hair's going to be rubbish, your skin's going to be rubbish, your mental clarity is going to be rubbish, your eyesight is going to be rubbish. You know, it's just not going to be its best, which is why you have to feed your body the best. Invest in the best things you could possibly do, and I promise you in the long term you gain so much more. So processed food, stop that. Alcohol, cigarettes, if you can, meat and dairy. Eat lots of vegetables, fruit, beans, grains, lentils. This is the way we always have, and I think that's why we've maintained, and even at this stage in our life, growing healthy hair. I mean, we get lots of questions about the colour of our hair. It's our own colour. We don't dye our hair. We don't really have many greys. We have a few strands that don't bother us at all. And they usually come up because we're having a stressful period and then they disappear again. Like everything, mostly your diet. So try your best to cut out the things that are causing more damage and include the things that are going to help you. Okay, it's about time I take my hair out. I need to get on with my day, but I've let this set for a good hour, I would say, which is normally probably how long I would leave it to set when I do my makeup and go and have breakfast and sort of patter about as I do in the mornings. But you can see, look, wow, I can't believe the curls. Another product I'm on the search for, if any of you know of any brand, is a good clean hairspray, because I cannot find one. I still use El Net. I use the white one. I mean, I don't use it often, but I really want to find a clean hairspray that actually works. So if any of you know of any, please do let me know in the comments below, because I do want to switch that. And a dry shampoo, like I mentioned earlier. I need to really not be as messy as I am when it comes to doing this. I'm so messy. Another thing I would really recommend is whenever you're doing anything with your hair, just avoid like tugging it and ripping it. If it gets caught, just be really gentle, like I am now. Because you don't want anything to snap your hair. It's very big, which is something that is very hard to achieve with the curling iron, so that's good. I'm just gonna brush this out slightly. I cannot believe this is my hair. I cannot believe it is this thick. Wow. I can just take out this bit. I don't know where it's supposed to sit. Wow, I can't believe this is my hair. look how thick it is. And I love the look the Dyson gives. It gives that out of the salon look, and I can't believe how much volume it's got. Obviously I have some practice to do because it's a little bit messy and I feel like I could get the style perfected. However, I'm not upset at all. I'm not upset at all. And I love my haircut. I got about 1.5 inches off the ends, and with my front part, they're not exactly bangs, but I used to get them cut quite high, and I've learned they look better a bit longer. So I have them sort of cut about here, and it's giving this amount of lift, as you can see, which is more than enough for me. And that's it. No layers, nothing. I like my haircuts nice and simple. My very good friend and original hairdresser, who I miss incredibly, Russell Cowie, would always say to me, the best haircut is just a simple haircut if you have good hair. I couldn't agree with him more, and I can't believe this is my hair. Oh my goodness. It's one of those moments where, you know, when something pays off and it just feels so good. In life, you'll be going at something over and over and over again, whether it's a job, whether it's a hobby, whatever it is, and you sometimes don't feel like you're getting anywhere, or it could just take a really long time. I'm in a moment where it's paying off and it feels so good, and it gives me motivation just to keep going, because healthy hair is so important to me. I'm going to finish off by popping a little bit of oil in my ends. This is another thing I've been doing I think I would say since June. Especially with long hair, the ends can get very dry. It's the oldest piece of hair there, the very oldest. Something I've been using is the Jizu honey infused hair oil by Najin, and I don't know if it's an entirely clean brand, but just looking over it, it's pretty decent. I was using like coconut oil before and it was just too greasy, so this is the best thing I've found so far. I'm still looking for the cleanest product, but this has been amazing. So I just do like that much, not a lot at all. And what I love is it just doesn't make your hair greasy, but it gets rid of all the flyaways, it nourishes your hair, doesn't look greasy at all, sets your hair in place as well a little bit, which is nice. And I can't believe this is my hair. I honestly, wow, they are my ends. They're actually my ends. I cannot believe it. I can't believe it. I really can't believe it. I'm so happy. You can tell, you can probably tell, but this is something I've been striving for such a long time, and hair extensions were just not an option for me. Like I mentioned, I tried them once upon a time, and as an adult and everything I've experienced and my knowledge over the years, one thing I didn't want was another woman's hair in my head. And I don't know if it's because I'm quite intuitive or empathetic or spiritual, but I just feel that we don't know the circumstances of where this hair has come from, the woman it's come from, why it's come from her, and I feel like attaching any of these sorts of things to yourself can have an effect on you. I even believe this with the way food is made. I remember reading a book, I can't remember what it was, and it was like a penny drop for me. It said, you know, who's made your food when you go out and eat? Was that person angry? Were they hungover? Were they sad? Because that energy, while that person is preparing your food, is going into your food, and then you eat it. And it just really resonated with me. So I don't know if you ever find this, that when you're out and you have something to eat and sometimes you get a terrible stomachache and you can't think why, because it's not anything that you're allergic to or something that you don't normally not eat. And I always think it's energy. So I feel that same way about hair. I feel like I mean, of course you get the synthetic ones, but that's just synthetic and plastic, and that you don't want anywhere near your scalp or your brain or your eyes or your skin. But real hair has come from somebody, and we don't know the circumstances, and I'm pretty sure these women don't want to cut their hair off. I'm pretty sure they'd rather keep their hair. So whether it's because they're in poverty, whether it's because they have no choice, I don't know, but it just doesn't sit well with me to then purchase that and use it. And furthermore, I know I keep going on about it, but being as natural as possible is just the song that I will continue to sing, because there's nothing worse than looking at all these women, especially on social media, and we don't know what's real anymore, and we are comparing ourselves to them and trying to keep up. And I mean, I don't, but I know a lot of people do, and I just think of young girls that look at these images and these videos, try to imitate these things or think they're not good enough, but in reality it's because those people strip away everything, the hair, the lashes, the filler, the Botox, all of it, and see what you have left with. We are all so beautiful naturally, with our imperfections, with all of it. I just think natural women are stunning, absolutely stunning, and most importantly unique, and I think that is something the world needs to embrace more. So I will keep championing it and singing the song of natural, and as you would have seen from today's video, I've been on my journey, and if it does help anybody, then I'm happy. And if anything I've shared in this video will help you, and I'm telling you it will help you if you take the steps. And one thing, like with everything in life, is you need to be patient. People want quick results, and that's the reason why these things like hair extensions and filler and weight loss jabs are popular, because people want quick results. But with quick results you have quick losses. Be patient, take the time, self-love, self-care, invest in yourself and believe in yourself, because you are truly amazing. Stefania's shouting for me to come down for dinner, but just one more moment for my hair, all of my hair, no extensions. I honestly can't believe it. I can't believe the fullness down here. It's something I've been dreaming and striving for such a long time. First things first, we need to head outside to get rosemary, which Stefania is already doing. Our rosemary bush is here.
It smells so nice.
Underneath the olive tree, and it seems to actually be getting bigger. And as you can see, Stefania is just cutting some rosemary sprigs. I suppose the more you put in, the more potent the spray will be, right? And if you have quite a big bush, you can go to town.
And like less water as well.
Yeah, but for now you make sure you get outside and pick some fresh rosemary. Okay, so oh my god, that smells amazing. So that's roughly how much we use, but there's no rule here. There's no rule. Use as much as you want. Okay, so we're back inside, and as you can see, Stefania's giving the rosemary a good wash.
You can soak it in bicarb if you want. I'm just washing it in filtered water.
But you can soak it in bicarb.
Yeah, it's just like, I know this is in our garden and stuff. Obviously, Tommy or his friends could spray on it and stuff like that.
His friends.
I don't want his spray.
And there's insects and stuff like that on it, so it's good to give the rosemary a good little wash.
Anyway,
smells amazing. So what are you doing next? She's got her distilled water.
Just been distilled, so it's already quite warm actually. You just want to put not too much water, so you just want to simmer it. You don't want to
boil the water,
then it's going to kill the nutrients.
So you'll notice that, like with everything, we're using a cast iron saucepan and distilled water and rosemary grown in our garden. And Stefania also likes to put in some cloves,
just like 3 or 4 bits, just because that stops the grey in the hair, but it's not really working for me.
No. So cloves are for hair greying, which is why, but I think you should put more in.
I think for that spray bottle, that's enough. No?
So we just, how much water would you say that is? About 4 cups?
No, less. 3
it's
cups?
Basically to fill one of these bottles. Because sometimes we do go over and do 2, but then I feel like the product just sort of loses its potency, so we try to just keep it to 1 bottle per, like every time we make it, we just fill 1 bottle.
That's enough for 1 bottle, and you want it to be dark, so you'll see when it's done in like 20 minutes Because remember, you're simmering it.
So how long you're simmering? So you're simmering for 20 minutes.
20-25 minutes.
And that's it. You're not boiling. You're not.
No. And then you'll see when you strain it. Well, you don't need to strain it, but whatever. You take the rosemary out and that, and you just pour it in here.
And we'll see.
Little bits in there, doesn't matter, because it's a spray bottle.
Okay. So you're never boiling, and you're basically simmering for 20 to 25 minutes. Yeah. Okay. So
and the water will be dark. You can't see here, but you'll see, like, I don't know, if you want to pour it in something clearer, you'll see it's dark because that's all the nutrient.
The smell in the kitchen right now is incredible. It's such a good time just to sit down and take some really, really, really deep breaths. Rosemary's really, really good for when you diffuse it, either in a diffuser by essential oil or what we're doing for like mental clarity.
Good for your memory.
Memory, mental clarity, it's all to do with like mental, basically. Being awake. The house smells amazing. Okay, it's just about ready.
That's it done.
And Stefania wants to show us the colour.
It smells so good. Normally it's a bit darker, but it's a bit lighter.
Still, you can see that it's not just plain water. Yeah, there we go. So you can see it's slightly darker. Sometimes it can be even more darker than that. I think if you let it soak for a while it cools, all you do at this point is just decant it into your amber glass bottle.
If you want, you could strain it, but it doesn't bother me. So
no,
it
doesn't
makes
bother me
probably
either.
stronger that you've got bits of rosemary still in there.
Yeah.
It doesn't go mouldy.
We don't strain it. Between the two of us, we use it fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Chicken on your
Who
nose.
do we have here?
He's got chicken on his nose.
Who is it?
It's Tommy.
Who is it?
He's a friend of mine.
Oh,
No,
dear. Would
you
you
not.
like some rosemary oil?
Is he allowed now?
He doesn't need it because
He's
his
not
coat
allowed.
is amazing. But there we have it. All done. We've labelled the bottle so we know what it is. And we have our fresh batch of rosemary hairspray, and that basically summarises this hair vlog. I know it's gone on quite a bit, but there was a lot of information. Please let me know if there's anything I've missed or anything else you would like to know about hair care, clean hair care. Pop it down in the comment section below. And yeah, look after your hair, look after yourselves.
Yeah.
No, don't spray it. And we'll see you in next week's video.